Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Stock Market Today for Tuesday, January 27th, almost to the end of January. Can you believe it? But it is the Stock Market Today for Tuesday, January 27th. My name is Ken Shreve. On today's show, we're going to talk about yet another day of outperformance for fiber optic data storage and semiconductor equipment stocks that fueled another day of outperformance for the Nasdaq Composite, milder gains for the S&P 500 and the Russell 2000. Blue chips lagged quite a bit. Before we get into all that, let me bring in our news editor, Ed Carson, who, as usual, has got three stocks to watch. Good afternoon, Ed.
Good afternoon, Ken. I want to take a look at BWX Technologies, Vertiv, and Ciena.
Very good. Three stocks to watch indeed. Before we do that, let's take a look at the index that outperformed by quite a bit today. The Nasdaq Composite, not to give short shrift to the S&P 500, which marked an all-time closing high today. But let's start with the Nasdaq because that's where all the action was today in Techland. Today, the Nasdaq Composite ended with a gain of about 0.9% today. Not an all-time closing high like the S&P 500, but five days of gains for the composite here. You can see 0.9%. Nice day for the S&P 500. A much milder gain for the S&P 500. We'll take a look at the S&P right now. That was only up 0.4%, bumping right up against that 7,000 level. Only about 20 points to go to get to 7,000. That is an all-time closing high for the S&P 500. Russell 2000. Milder gain that was up just a little bit, 0.2%. That did halt a two-session slide, and then the Dow Jones Industrial Average under pressure for most of the session, down 0.8%. Big sell-off for United Health Group today, UNH. A lot of health insurers under pressure today. Lower reimbursement rates for a lot of these Medicare Advantage insurers. So a lot of these stocks sold off today. But Ed, I'll tell you, it seems like every day these the fiber optics data storage companies, chip equipment firms are selling off. We've got a lot of our earnings reports coming up, including tomorrow for a big one, GLW. That was a huge performer in the market surge, growth 250 today. But another nice day for the Nasdaq Composite, up 5 days in a row. Wasn't that long ago when the Nasdaq gapped below its 50-day moving average, but nice recovery here.
Yeah, I mean, for those who hold strong and maybe are reluctant to sell, that's worked out pretty well these last few times because both times, when we did this, in December, one big drop through the 50-day line and then right back up again. It would be great if we could finally clear all this area. And we did get the highest level since almost record highs. We're sort of clearing some of the short-term levels that really was having trouble getting through. It's just that there's all these earnings coming up. I mean, tomorrow we have Meta and
Mhm.
Microsoft, and while those companies aren't particularly doing great, their capital spending forecast is just going to be enormous. And you say like a lot of these memory names, including one that's tonight, memory plays are this week. We got some of the chip equipment leaders this week. A lot of the AI infrastructure names are this week, and those that don't report, they're going to get influenced by all these other names too. So that's the only downside. I mean, I think that there were definitely buying opportunities. It's just how much, how much do you want to take advantage of, and be careful about how concentrated you are, given the possibility of enormous moves in the next day or two. But nice action for sure to see the Nasdaq steadily climb and get above some key levels.
Yeah, yeah, we're going to hear a lot about AI spending from Meta tomorrow. This one has really struggled, up 5 days in a row, just like the Nasdaq. You can see that 200-day moving average. We'll see if that's going to be a resistance level or not. Microsoft, a little more interesting. Microsoft is about ready to poke above some pretty serious resistance levels. It has moved above a lot of moving averages here, trying to get back above that 200-day moving average. It is still on a downtrend, just like Meta, but big week of earnings. Like I said, the S&P 500 not up as much as the Nasdaq today, but that was an all-time closing high for the S&P 500 as well. Did see some interesting action in some of the growth ETFs that we follow. A nice day of outperformance for FFTY. That was up another. It did actually strengthen into the close here, up 2.3% today. Ed, we've been seeing the IBD 50 outperform quite a bit lately because it is heavily weighted in gold stocks, which have been outperforming quite a bit. ARKK has also been outperforming, but it lagged today. That was only that was down actually 0.1%, but it was interesting to see FFTY. We've been used to seeing this thing go up because of its exposure to gold, but it was up 2.3% today. But when you look at a lot of the big gainers in the IBD 50, it was nothing to do at all with gold today, which was kind of interesting.
It does show you, like, again, there's still have to be, especially in tech world, there's things that can be looking great and others are not. And memory is doing great, the chip equipment, some other AI infrastructure. A lot of those names are in the IBD 50, including Vertiv, which we're going to take a look at. And then ARC, well, Tesla was down again today. That's its biggest holding, but then they have a lot of crypto stuff, which just hasn't done that well. And they don't have that much in the way of chips. I mean, I'm not saying they don't have any, but you can be in some areas that are growth areas. The Nasdaq can be doing well, and some days you outperform, sometimes you don't. And yeah, so it's just interesting. Even among a couple of ETFs that you would sort of think are somewhat similar, they have very different makeups underneath.
Yeah, some of the big gainers in the IBD 50 today, outside of gold. Applied Digital, APLD. This is a
Yeah,
data
there's that
center
too.
operator, quite volatile yesterday. Did reverse lower below the 40 level. It did try to break out. That was up 14% today. APLD, Rocket Lab, RKLB, another nice gainer in the IBD 50. I think this was this was up 8% today, finding support at its 21-day moving average. ANAB in the biotech space. So a lot of nice cross section of leadership in the IBD 50 today. This one's been getting support at its 50-day moving average. And then you mentioned data storage firm Micron, which has been a big winner. So nice cross section of leadership in the IBD 50 today. Take a look at our equal weighted ETFs. Breadth, not great on the Nasdaq today for a gain of close to 1%. We were positive. By less than 2 to 1 on the Nasdaq today, and breadth was barely positive on the NYSE. So here's the equal weighted RSP. That was down just a little bit today, and then the equal weighted Nasdaq 100 QQEW, and then
No,
also wanted to take a look at
QQQE.
IC.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's what you put up.
QQQE,
Yeah.
right? Isn't that what I?
Yeah. I think you
Okay.
said QQEW. Yeah. But yes, and
Oh,
I
sorry.
also I know some of the weakness in RSP and obviously the Dow. And one reason why the S&P wasn't up as much is because of those health insurers. I mean, the fact that the S&P was up at all, given that, and the fact that RSP really didn't give up much ground, there was some weakness. Some real negative things. Anyway, I'm sorry. I just want to make sure we said
Yeah.
QQQE.
Yeah. QQQE, equal weighted Nasdaq 100, and had a pretty good day as well, up 0.4%. And then also wanted to take a look at ICLN today. This was added to Swing Trader today. This is the iShares Global Clean Energy ETF, ICLN. Ed.
Yeah, and they have a lot of solar stuff, and some of those things are plays that are like Europe, Chinese, or even European. So there's some things in there that you may not be that familiar with. TAN is already extended. This one was still sort of in range. I think at this time, if you really feel aggressive and you really want to play certain spaces, this is a way to play, sectors that are hot without having that single stock risk, which is just so high right now. So it's just something to note. I will note that its number 2 holding is Nextpower, which had earnings after the close, and that is working out right now. But you didn't know. You didn't know heading into it. That's just so. That's another way to sort of hedge your bets. When so many stocks are coming out there, you don't want to be seeing everything go up 10%, but your stock is down 20%. That's no fun.
And this is the second highest weighted holding of ICLN is NXT, correct?
NXT, and number 1 is Bloom Energy, which is doing all right for itself as well.
Gotcha. And NXT, they just changed their name, correct?
Next Power.
NXT
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Next
Next
Power
Power.
used to be, yeah. And they just reported earnings, and we see this stock is up nicely in after hours, up 9.5%. Very good. All right. Well, we do have some stocks to look at right now. So let's start by taking a look at BWX. This is tracked in the electric sector, electrical power equipment industry group that ranks fairly high in our 197 industry group rankings, number 33 out of 197. This looks like a pretty good technical setup, a cup base. It has started to drift lower above the 200 level. BWX Technologies. Talk to me about this setup, Ed.
Yeah, the nuclear components, nuclear parts in there, and that's just here, sort of like a little bit of the picks and shovels kind of thing in there. Some pretty solid growth. It's supposed to be a little, slow down a little bit, I think, in Q4, but then improve again somewhat. Yeah, it's sort of there was a big run up, and you could have bought it maybe went through and above the 50-day line, but I get nervous when a stock runs up and doesn't pause, exactly for this reason, because this stock fell say about 8-9%, which was fine. It was due for a pullback, but it just wouldn't have been much fun if I'd bought it at 219 to see it come down to 202 or whatever it did. So now, yeah, it's getting above the last few days of trading. You could argue that there's a downward sloping trend line in this high handle. So I think this is a place where people could have entered today. And especially given that, look, if all the AI trade goes negative, I mean, because nuclear stuff is still AI, you can't say, oh, well, who cares what Meta does? I'm going to buy this nuclear. No, this one, that could have a negative impact, but it's not directly on point as some of them. So this was above volume most of the day, above average volume most of the day. It did fade off, but pretty solid performance here. So yeah, I think this was just a nice pullback after a big run up.
And here's a weekly chart that that gives us a stock that has shown the ability to trend higher. We like to see stocks that have shown the ability to muster very good gains, and BWX has definitely shown that ability. It has shown the ability to go on nice uptrends. It has based and gone on nice uptrends. It has based here, and we'll see if it can go on another nice uptrend here. But we look at the recent quarterly earnings and sales and a pretty good track record of growth. $19.4 billion market cap, setting up at another base here, and we're in a pretty healthy market here. We'll see if this one can muster another breakout here. So pretty good technical setup. Taking a look at Vertiv here, VRT. This was has been a big winner in the past. Start with the daily chart first here. Take a look at Vertiv, which made a nice move today, up 4.4%. Volume picked up the pace from yesterday. This is what we would call a double bottom pattern, a stock that has taken a little while to get moving here, but it did start moving today. No volume yet, but it did, like I said, pick up the pace from yesterday.
Yeah, so nice price gain. It's the highest close in quite a while, for a couple of months, almost at the buy point. Didn't quite get to the 189.66 intraday, buy point there. Yeah, we've been waiting for this. A lot of the names have come out, and some of them have not, but a few of them are trying to now. But we don't know. A lot of AI infrastructure plays are coming out in the next couple of days. How will that influence it? Then you have Meta and Microsoft, what they have to say. Then in a couple of weeks, Vertiv reports along with NVIDIA. So there's a lot of things coming in. So just keep that in mind. I mean, things could, there's just a lot of potential headwinds back and forth. They may all work out great. It may work out great, and this one just keeps flying from here. But it's just something to know. But yeah, nice action here. The growth is strong. So and it looks like that will continue to be strong. But yeah, AI spending from others is going to be really important. But we've been waiting for this one to move. It's right on the cusp. It's just unfortunate it's right around earnings season, but the market doesn't always make it easy, for that reason.
Right. Another strong industry group here. Vertiv, known for its cooling solutions for data centers that tend to run very, very hot. So a lot of companies out there providing the cooling solutions, as well as a lot of other services for data centers. But Vertiv, another stock on the weekly chart that has gone on some very, very nice runs. A very sharp pullback here that served to shake out sellers. It started moving higher again, catching its breath here, forming another base. So we'll see if it can muster another breakout here. That is Vertiv Holdings, $72 billion market cap here. Another big company here. And then we mentioned the continuous outperformance of the fiber optic stocks, which are benefiting greatly from the AI data center expansion. Take a look at Sienna, CIEN. Look at the move this stock made last year, still holding near highs, setting up bullishly. CIEN trades on the New York Stock Exchange.
Yeah, and this is like, when you look at stocks like Sienna or Google, going back to a weekly, just get that sense of like there's a switch. It's like the market goes, okay, we're just going to you're doing something different now, because Sienna just seemed as this constant thing or a breakout and flop and da da da, just didn't seem to get moving. And the earnings would be choppy up and down on a quarterly or yearly basis. But now AI is such this huge demand, it took off and really went going. And you can see the growth rates that are expected. That's really impressive growth. And some of those, the growth is supposed to get really strong after the comparisons start getting tougher. I mean, it's just like, so there is enormous growth when you consider that way. And because this is the kind of place, and it sort of seems like that with memory chips and other things where it's just like, yeah, there's boom bust. It's never lasts. Now the market sort of feels like that. And so that's where you had this huge run. And I missed it, and I wish I'd been, more cognizant, but that sometimes happens there. It doesn't mean, sometimes though, you look at model book portfolios, it's amazing how many of those stocks where, the model book will show actually it already run up before quite a bit. Now, maybe not this much, but it's like you can see how this could easily go on another run, and there's plenty of stocks like that. Going back to it, so it bounced off the 10-week line this week. It's sort of been finding support there. It's got an ascending base on a daily and a weekly chart. On a daily, I think it was actionable today. It broke the downtrend of this sort of like this top part of this ascending base. It's above the 21-day line. It's still relatively close to the 50-day line. The only issue is that, Corning reports tomorrow, like there's a lot of other names, Celestica, Amphenol, not necessarily all in fiber optics, but, there's a lot of names, Viav, reports tomorrow. So there's just a lot of names that are in there, and Microsoft and Meta. So that's the difficulty.
That's really
yeah, that's the difficulty.
Oh yeah,
What do
and
you
the
do?
Fed and the Fed meeting.
I haven't
And you got
even
a Fed
brought
meeting
up
that
the
started
Fed. I mean,
today.
it's like, yeah,
I know.
normally that'd be like, hey, watch out for the Fed, but it just seems like so down the list of things, especially for these other things. But
It
yeah, the
really is
Fed.
kind of at the bottom of the totem pole at this point. The
Yeah,
Fed, right?
but
Yeah.
that tells you something. That's like when you talk about
Yeah.
the greatest players of all time, and it's like, well, I don't know if Shaq can be on the team. It's like, well, geez, it's like kind of situation. So I mean, Corning had some good news from Meta, but that has reports maybe the guidance won't be great for them. Who knows? And that could sink the sector,
Yeah.
even though this is not necessarily fiber optic. So there's just a lot going on. Just keep that in mind. Just makes it really difficult because this was such a the indexes were nice, and the Nasdaq was nice, and the S&P going up was nice, but there was a lot of bullish action. But it's like, boy, it's right ahead of so much news. So I think investors could have maybe should have added some exposure, but it is also very tricky in right now, given all the news that's about to hit.
Yes, yes. And the news on Corning today, they inked a big deal with Meta, multi-billions. Was it 5 billion, $6 billion?
Something
They're
like
going to
that,
be
5 billion, I think. Yeah.
for fiber optic cable for Meta's data center build out. They're going to be. This is a deal that's going to be good through 2030. So Corning, big earnings report tomorrow morning. I believe that's going to be before the open. Amphenol APH is not tracked in the fiber optic group, but APH is big into fiber optic connectors. So they are definitely fiber optic adjacent. They're going to be reporting before the open as well. And this is a stock that just, broke out from a double bottom base. And look at the move this stock made today, 6.87, almost up 7% today. So, and then we had a couple of earnings reports after the close. We had Texas Instruments. You want to take a look at TXN first? Texas Instruments in the semiconductor group. TXN is making a nice move. This has been a laggard in the chip making group, relative strength rating of 70. It has moved nicely off lows. That's making a nice move in the after hours, although you said the earnings report not so great. There was a miss. Was it on the bottom line or the top line?
It was on both. I mean, but their
Oh.
guidance was strong for the next quarter. But a lot of these analog chip makers have been doing better. Not necessarily this. This hasn't even the best one. So I don't want to get too excited. But that is part of it. One is that it feels like everything in chips is doing pretty well right now. So it's just something to note. And there may be some other names in the analog space that are doing better that that also benefit from this.
And then another big industry group that's very noteworthy this week. We mentioned the data storage firms. We had an important earnings report after the close, and that is from Seagate Technologies, STX. Let's see what Seagate is doing. That is moving a little bit. Looks like it's down 2.5% in the early going. Seagate Technology, STX. What do we got
Yeah,
there?
and they beat views pretty solidly, and they guided higher. And maybe it wasn't blowout. I mean, and the thing is, this has gone up so much. At some point, that may be what people are demanding at this point. And who knows? Who knows where this will end up? The numbers look strong, and so there wasn't anything on the surface. But obviously, this has run up so much. It's had a solid week already. Just this week, let alone this year, let alone the past, 8-9 months or so.
Very good. All right. Well, busy day of earnings tomorrow and Thursday. So a lot to look forward to. Ed, thank you as usual for your insight. We appreciate it very much.
Thank you very much, Ken.
All right. That'll do it for today. We've got a big show for tomorrow on IBD Live. I will be in the host share, and we will be welcoming Mark Minervini back. Mark Minervini is a very popular guest from Minervini Private Access. He has won the U.S. Investing Championships a couple of times. He is an author and just a very popular and successful trader. So he'll be on IBD Live tomorrow. We'll be going on the air around 6:20 a.m. Pacific time, 9:20 a.m. Eastern time. If you haven't checked out the show, you can go to investors.com/IBD Live and check us out for 2 weeks. And we hope you do that. So we look forward to seeing you there. Ed and I will be back same time tomorrow for another Stock Market Today video. So be sure to join us then. In the meantime, have a great afternoon, everyone. We will see you back here tomorrow. Take care, everyone.